Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you all had a awesome Easter. So happy Easter. My day was pretty good. I had to work at 8 this morning. I was an hour late because I thought I had to work at 9. We were kind of dead at work. Everybody was really cranky because it was a holiday. And it was just interesting. Holidays are always interesting, especially at a restaurant when you're serving people. It is probably after 11 o'clock. Oh, it's midnight. High five, Bree. Getting ahead on that sleep game. Anyway, I decided that I would tell you guys my coming out story. Just because, I mean, it's not like it's not exciting, I mean, and that's why I'm telling it, because not everybody struggles and not everybody has a crazy story or an extremely good story. But nonetheless, it's a story and it's a part of their lives, and this one is mine. So I started to think about relationships with another girl when I was in 8th grade. And it was all thanks to one girl, which is another story that maybe we can get into on another day. But my freshman year was when I actually decided to come out. And even then it wasn't official, it was more, hey ma, I'm kind of thinking about this lady. But I was driving home in my grandma's car. She always picked us up from school. And I remember it very clearly. And I finally decided, I just messaged my mom. That was the day that I go to my dad's. I went to my dad's on the weekends and my mom's on the weekdays. And I was going to my dad's, and there was this girl that I had a really big crush on, and I finally decided to tell her that I had a crush. And so things were kind of growing, but nothing ended up happening until way later. But so I messaged my mom and I said, would you still love me if I was into girls? And so she immediately called me. And I was in the car with my grandmother, who had taken me to church since I could walk. And I didn't want to have this conversation in the car with my mom. And so she asked me, she's like, who's around you? And I said, my grandma. And she goes, okay, call me back when you get home. So naturally, I called her back when I got home. And then she said, so what's going on? And I told her, I was completely honest with her, and she was kind of, she wasn't confused, she was just taking all of it in. And she said, of course I'm always going to love you. This doesn't change anything. You're my daughter. Who's the lucky girl? And I told her who I was thinking about, and she said, well, that's awesome. I hope to meet her if anything ever happens. And she goes, and if this does pass, I will still love you and I won't think any less of you. And if it doesn't pass, then same thing. And, that was that. But, I mean, it never... So, fast forward, finally I started dating this girl. And she came over to my house and we watched a movie, and naturally, things happened, and my mom pulled a mom and said she was going to be home an hour later than she was going to. And in this time, me and my mom were having a sort of falling out per se. Our relationship was kind of crazy, and she came home early, and I did the rush to the window, rush to unlock the door, rush back and sit innocently on the couch. Welcome home. This is my completely straight friend. No, not buying it. All right. So my girlfriend went home and my mom looked at me and she goes, "So who was that?" And I looked at her and I said, "That's my girlfriend." And that was my coming out story. I got caught at home and came out to my mom and told her that I was more than sure that I was bisexual and leaned more towards women, and she said, "Well, at least you can't get pregnant," and that was that. And while this may not be the most interesting coming out story that you'll hear today or tomorrow or whenever you're watching coming out stories, it is still a coming out story. Coming out is difficult, and it comes easier to some than it does to others, and that's fine. You should not be ashamed of who you are. You should not be ashamed if when you came out your parents were okay with it. And you should not be ashamed if you came out and your parents weren't okay with it. Because at the end of the day, you're still you. You're just more you than you were yesterday. Everybody thinks that the world is so dramatic and that, oh, woe is me. I'm 17 years old and I did have a woe is me time period, but I'm over that now and I'm trying to focus on the good things and the positive things in life. So with that, happy Easter. I'm bisexual. On the bisexual note, it is okay to be bisexual and date more women than men. It is okay to be bisexual and be in a 3-year-long relationship with a female. I am approaching my 3-year anniversary with my girlfriend, Bridget Collins. In April, I will have been dating a female for 3 years. That does not mean I am not bisexual. I could still see myself with a man in whenever. Granted, I am completely devoted to the person that I am with right now, but that does not mean I am not attracted to the opposite gender. Just because I'm more on one side than the other doesn't mean anything. In fact, it doesn't mean anything. I am Brie, and I like who I like. And I'm totally cool with that. You could be a unicorn, and I might be attracted to you. Granted, the horn might be an issue, but yeah, we can discuss that later. But anyway, late night conversations with me. Happy Easter. I'm Brie.